Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered 4 Veersamid levels, so in this part, I'll be covering at least 4 or 5 more Veersamid levels, starting up with this one. Invading the military base of Sniper Joe's Normal by Lipatio, with 14 plays and a score 2. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a future part like this one, please leave both the level name and level ID either in the comment section below or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for all the levels that I cover in these parts, so if you want to check if your level is covered, expand the description. For this stage, we initially have the option of going through it as either Mega Man, Proto Man, or Base. And for most checkpoints, we can swap over to another one of the 3 characters. Now, you may have noticed at the start that I already completed this level. However, I'm re-recording it as the initial footage got corrupted a bit. Same with the second level that I'll cover in this part. Now, you may have noticed at the start that I already completed this level. However, I'm re-recording the footage as the initial footage got corrupted a bit. Same with the second level that I'll cover in this part. Make sure to stop over the base and take the upper route, as it'll lead to an easily obtainable extra weapon, specifically the Firestorm. And it leads back up to this checkpoint, so onwards we go. Now, there are a few sections in this stage where you are forced to swap over to base. Although for this first instance, I don't know why it's needed because all of the characters can jump over the rolling drill. And there are no sections here which force utilization of base's increased mobility, at least for this first section. Another thing of note about this stage is how generous the checkpoint placement is. I mean, the last checkpoint was just 4 screens away. And also about the character switching, this will not be present in all the checkpoint placements. There are 2 or 3 instances where you're forced to keep your last character. And for this next section, we are forced to stay as base, but for good reason this time because we need base's increased mobility here. Just be careful and make sure that your jump inputs aren't eaten up by the micro stuttering there. That happened to me in the original run of the stage. And now for this next section, you can either do it as Mega Man, Proto Man, or Base, but I will continue to do it as Base because the Trouble Boost is faster, has more firepower, and is more maneuverable. However, it takes more weapon energy to use, so you gotta be a bit careful. It's basically a horizontal shmup segment. A rather easy one. Essentially, you're dodging enemies as well as the force beams, and in the next section, the Techions. Although honestly, this is mostly hold right to win. This is one of those instances where you're forced to stay as your previously selected character. And this is also a jet segment, as I don't think any of the other characters can make these jumps, only Base can. Plus, with the addition of all those force beams, Mega Man and Proto Man can definitely not make those jumps. This is a rather easy segment, and for the majority of the stage, it is rather easy. The only real difficult segment of the stage is near the end, the one after this section. So now we ride on top of this rolling drill underwater. Make sure to keep it on screen and not destroy it, not like what I just did. And here is where the difficulty of the stage kicks in. It's somewhat of a difficulty spike. Now, you can do this as either Mega Man, Proto Man, or Base, but I'd rather do it as Base for extra insurance. Why, you may ask? Because of a combination of Base's double jump, the oil slider's double jump, I can chain together and save myself by merging into the treble boost. I'll try 2 or 3 times initially, then I'll use the treble boost. It's this section where I get a lot of problems. Mainly because, in order to ascend higher, you need to hold down the A button. But if you hold down the A button while Base, or whatever character you are riding on top of the oil slider, is outside the water, it'll act like jumping out of the oil slider. And of course, if you're playing as Base, you can save yourself easily by doing stuff like that. Unfortunately, it seems that unless you hit solid ground, Base's double jump charge will not be restored. Landing on top of an oil slider glob does not recharge the double jump. And unlike the previous section, you cannot do this entirely on 1 bar of jet energy. So for this in the previous section, I strongly advise you do it as Base. I'll give it 1 or 2 more goes, then I'll just use a treble boost. Making it over that jump is going to be the biggest hurdle. In comparison with the previous parts of the stage, this is quite a significant difficulty spike. The previous parts of the stage were rather easy, and this one is somewhat difficult. I'm not sure what happened over there, but okay then. This time I'll use the treble boost. Another thing I like about this stage is that at every checkpoint, there are full life energy respawners. So there's no place where you'll run out of weapon energy. So for the boss fight, let's do it as Proto Man. Although the easiest option is base. Overall, I'd say that playing through this stage as either Mega Man or Proto Man is the normal mode version of this stage, whereas playing it as base is the easy mode version. Honestly, the stage felt kind of empty and too easy for me, outside the last part of the stage where we suddenly had a difficulty spike, so I cannot give this stage a thumbs up. I preferred several of Lipatio's previous stages more than this one, my apologies. Second level on the lineup is Ringman is Bored by QueenMonika, with 14 plays and a score -4. So it starts out easy enough. And then suddenly we fight Ringman over here, who is immune against the Mega Buster, so we gotta run past him. And for some reason, Ringman respawns right over here, right on the left side of the screen, stuck inside the boss gates. So do a quick reset over here so he despawns. I think it may be possible to dump Ringman into the pit to the right, but I wouldn't try it. Thankfully we start with item 3, which makes sections like these a lot easier. Make sure to pick up the Metal Blade, as it's Ringman's weakness here. And now we need to create a staircase through these pole eggs. Thank you for the checkpoint. Checkpoint placement of the stage is on point. Make sure to keep holding left over there so you don't fall into the spikes. And avoid all the mini-bosses and enemies here. Make sure to do a quick reset over here so you're back at full health. This loops back to the initial part of the stage. And now we refight Ringman with his weakness, which is the Metal Blade, by the way. Unfortunately, this encounter due to the cramped space is still annoying. I've said this before and I'll say it again. As of version 1.3.6, Ringman is the most difficult robot master present in this engine, mainly due to his high contact damage, his high ring damage, and how difficult to avoid his rings are, especially in cramped corridors. Third level on the lineup is Super Mario Bros. 1-4 Mega Man Maker Edition by SonicBioniclemaster with 137 plays and a score of 48. So another level recreation. So the first castle stage. We have access to nothing basically. Only jumping. Jumping and moving. At least I don't die to 1 or 2 hits. So these were basically Bowser's fireballs. And I basically activated the hammer, which cut down the drawbridge, meaning that Bomb Man fell into the abyss, or rather the lava, if it did exist. This was a rather short recreation. This felt shorter than the original stage, so it just felt too bland and forgettable, honestly. I feel that there could have been a better recreation done, and it could be remade better to better fit with Mega Man Maker's gameplay style. Fourth level on the lineup is Serious Sam The First Encounter Hatshepsut Mega Man Maker Remix by SonicBioniclemaster with 43 plays and a score of 9. At least I hope I pronounced the location correctly. Another short recreation. Although, unlike the previous level, which originally took place on a 2D plane, this was originally a 3D stage, or rather took place in a first-person shooter. And by running to the left, we gain access to a free tank. So I'll do a quick reset to shorten my walk back. So now we're entering the Egyptian temple. The other thing I remember from Serious Sam is that, like many other classic FPSs, it has a lot of extra collectibles and secrets. I wish I had access to sliding though. That was a rather long walk to the right. We could have sped it up by having access to sliding, I'd say. I mean, there was no need to read the text that slowly. We could easily read it if we were sliding. At least we are rewarded for our wait. Both the elect beam as well as the dive missile are Metal Man's weaknesses, so this fight is rather easy. Although, just like the previous level, this felt kinda bland. I liked it a little bit more than the previous one because it had more verticality and more complexity, but I've never really played Serious Sam the first encounter. I've watched some playthroughs, so that's why I'm familiar with the Egyptian temple and the fact there are some secrets, but honestly, this didn't really appeal to me. If this was better adapted for a Mega Man gameplay style, I would have enjoyed it more and given it a thumbs up. As it stands right now, as I just said, it's forgettable. Fifth level on the lineup is Abyssal Adventure by SonicBioniclemaster, with 12 plays and a score of 3. Oh neat, and just like the previous stage, we have an extra secret if you go to the left on the start. Nope, it's one way from the left. I want to emphasize something in regards to the previous 2 levels I played through. I don't mind playing through recreations of stages, but they need to make sure that they're adapted for the gameplay style that they're being remade in. Like in this case, for the previous 2 stages, mainly the first one, they weren't that well adapted to the Mega Man's gameplay style. Well, for the second one, the stage didn't go far enough. At least it played to Mega Man's gameplay style. All of the stages in this part understand good checkpoint placement. Well, some are more generous than others, but I don't mind. As I've said before, I prefer generous checkpoint placement over checkpoint starvation. Is that a map, or is it something else? Thank you for the full refill. And the stage just ends over here. Well, okay then. I think the oil slider is his weakness, specifically if you ride into him, but it's faster to just use the Mega Buster. I'm trying to ride into him, but it's more difficult than it looks. Overall, this was an almost okay stage. It felt below par and it didn't go enough. It wasn't focused enough, basically. So, sixth and final level of the part is Chili Canyon by Team Mabrick, with 39 plays and a score of 4. Now, the level designer warned me that this stage is hard, so I will keep my guard up here. After all, this is an ice level, so expect ice physics. That was a bit of a close one. I would not have gotten knocked into the pit there, but I just wanted to play it safe. And now we're being introduced to the Manons, or whatever the chandelier enemies are called. So far, not too bad. The Matuls and Manons were introduced pretty well, I'd say. Oh goody, Sparkman platforms, and the risk of getting crushed against the ceiling. After all, in this engine, or at least the level editor, there's no way to put a stopper to how high the Sparkman platforms can go. The only thing that limits them are obstructions like walls. And now mini-boss time. I can make it a cakewalk by just using the Ice Slasher. Also, good introduction to the ring platforms, placed over a safe environment initially. Same with both of the enemy types, and to a lesser extent with the Sparkman platforms. And now it's put over a bed of spikes, with an enemy nearby. Think fast here, because there's a spike bed. And now we move into the deep ice caverns, I suppose. And now we have low spike ceilings. Not too bad, especially with damage boosting. Oh, Tama. Better safe than sorry, especially with that bottomless pit to the left. This is doable buster only, but it's a lot more risky. And now we're outside again. And wow, that red background is quite distracting. You may want to pick the lighter shade of red here. Oh no, one of these. I can use item 2, so let's do that. Not too bad. In fact, I think we're at the end of the stage. Yep, we are. I didn't die throughout this level, so that was nice. Certainly a hard level, but honestly I think some other levels were harder in some other regards. Like what happened with invading the military base of Sniper Joe's at the beginning, with the oil sire segment near the end. Overall, a pretty solid level. I'd say that out of the 6 levels I covered in this part, this is my favorite one. Pretty well solidly constructed, nice introduction of gimmicks and enemies, first in safe environments, then in more difficult ones, and nice recombination of enemies near the end. This really felt like a more difficult traditional level. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. It had a beginning, middle, and end. So I will definitely give this a thumbs up. 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Good work, Team Mabrick. So in the next part, I'll be covering several more viewer submitted levels. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!